What's good everybody, it's your boy Hamza from Ather Gaming, and today guys I'm coming to you with a brand new video. This one is my personal take on that mutant deck, and you guys can see I'm playing these Nemesis cards. Make sure you guys stay tuned because this deck file is super spicy and I got a pretty insane combo near the end of the video. Of course guys, let's like this video, let's try and hit 100 likes as always. Comment what you guys want to see next, and of course subscribe because 69% of you guys are not subscribed. But without further ado, let's get straight into this video. Alright guys, so starting off with the deck profile, of course it is a mutant deck profile, so we're going to talk about the mutants first, sporting engines later, and we're going to get into the combo and whatever. But basically, we're starting off by playing 3 of, so Mutant ST46. A good thing I like to remember is ST is spell or trap cards. This card is normal or special summoned. You can add 1 mutant spell or trap card from your deck to the hand. Second effect is you can tribute this card, banish 1 card from your hand or face up on the field. Face up is really important, and then depending on what you banish, you can summon either Mutant Beast if it's a monster, Mist if it's a spell, or Arsenal if it's a trap card. Again, really important in this deck, kind of the Stratos of the deck in a sense, more like a Candina, but again, all of the babies are. So that is ST46. Moving on, we play M05, or just M because M for monster, ST for spell and trap cards. You see what I mean? But now we are playing the 3 of, M05. Again, if this card's normal summon, add or special, add 1 mutant monster from your deck to your hand. Then same with ST, you can banish, you can tribute this card and then banish 1 card from your hand or face up on the field. Then of course, depending on what you banish, you summon it. Again, monster is Beast, spell is Mist, and then trap is Arsenal. So again, really important to understand what you are going to tribute and banish with these cards, but being able to banish face up on the field is really cool. But now moving on to the bigger, better boss monsters, we are playing double Mutant Beast. Now if you guys don't know what this card does is, again, all of the big boss monsters have the clause where they cannot be special summoned except with a card, or except with the effect of a mutant card. And again, your opponent cannot target this card with monster effect, so already problematic 2400. Then he says, when your opponent activates a spell card or effect, quick effect, banish 1 card from your hand or field, negate the activation if you do destroy it or banish it. And then if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, target 1 of your banished mutant traps and add to your hand. Again, he's a really cool spell negate that you can actually just bring out easily with these guys, so that is pretty cool in that respect. And then again, we are playing our 1 Mist, and then again, you want to be able to play 1 of each of them at least for like different instances that this deck will run into. Originally I was not playing Mist, but now you should play Mist. I definitely feel like a lot of decks are going to be playing it now as well. But again, similar clause, can always special summon except with the effect of a mutant card. Your opponent cannot target this card with spell effects. And then again, when your opponent activates a trap card or effect, banish 1 card from your hand or field, draw 2 cards. And then if this card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, target 1 of your banished mutant monsters and add to your hand. So we got some recursion there as well, and then we got some drawing, which is pretty cool. Can't be targeted, 2900 booty, 2700 attack. Pretty cool. Can't be targeted with spell cards. And again, these cards are really easy to bring out with ST and M. And then moving on to the last boss monster we played is the 1 Mutant Arsenal. Again, similar clause, can't be special summoned except with the mutant card effect. And then again, your opponent cannot target this card with trap cards. So Beast can't be targeted by monsters, Mist can't be targeted by spells, and Arsenal can't be targeted by trap cards. And then he has an effect kind of similar to like Doom King Baylor Drop, where he says is, when your opponent activates a monster effect, banish 1 card from your hand or field, target 1 monster on the field, banish it. So Arsenal is pretty good, Beast is pretty good, Mist is like okay, but again, you still need to play these cards for specific interactions, and I'll show you guys a really cool play at the end of this video. But yeah, so 2 Beasts, 1 Mist, 1 Arsenal. Again, you can play any more of whatever you want. I see decks playing 2 Arsenal, but you need to play Mist, so I decided to play 1-1. But that's it for the mutant cards. Moving on to the Nemesis cards, we are going to be rocking triple Nemesis flag. Again, all the Nemesis cards have the effect, or the babies have the effect, where it's like you can target 1 of your banished monsters except the card of the name of that you're activating. Shove it back in the deck, special summon this card. Now he has the other effect where he says during the main phase you can add 1 Nemesis monster from your deck to your hand. So he's really important, and again, you guys see that these cards they're really easy to banish cards. Like they're literally insta banish when they're on the field, so they're really easy ways to get our flag out. But that's it for triple flag. Then moving on, we play double Keystone. So Keystone has the same effect where you can target 1 of your banished monsters except Keystone, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, shuffle that target into the deck. But he has another cool effect as well where he says during the end phase, if this card is currently banished and was banished this turn, you can add this card to your hand. So again, if you banish him off of ST or M's, he can actually just come back and give you more fodder for next turn. He can just keep on coming back, sort of similar to like a Sinister Serpent or like a Treeborn Frog. Again, not of that power level, but really similar in the recursion effect. Now moving on to the final boss monsters of the deck, we are playing the 1 Escados and the 1 Protos. Escados says, cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned by banishing 3 monsters with different types, cannot be stored by card effects, Once per turn, declare one monster type, destroy monsters on the field with that type, and now until the end of the next turn, neither player can special summon monsters. Again, Escados needs to destroy in order to lock, right? He can't just declare not destroy and then doesn't lock, right? So you need to do it, but again, we have ways of manipulating this. So I will show you guys at the end of this deck profile how we do it. But again, we play our Protos as well. So again, Protos can't be special summoned except by banishing 3 monsters with different attributes. Again, declare one attribute, destroy all monsters on the field with that attribute, and then lock out of the attribute. So these cards are really good. Playing one of each gives you versatility to choose what you want to lock your opponent out. Whether it is some sort of like, Dino Infernoble deck, you can lock them out of that. Or you can just drop Protos, and now Protos will just be like, I'll just call Light, and then you can't summon Macabre or your Dogma cards. Really, really cool. Again, moving on to the tech cards, we are playing Double Necroface. Being able to banish this card, all of these cards work really well off of our face of banish cards, the Mutants and the Nemesis cards, so it's pretty cool to be able to just freely banish. And again, being able to banish our opponent's resources is pretty good as well. So just 2 Necroface. Again, high impact hand traps. A lot of decks play Ash Blossom with their deck, but I feel like Nibiru is good. You don't really need to deal with your opponent sort of like getting other cards, because Ash doesn't really hit a lot of the cards in the format, because you play like Desires, you play like Punishment, you play like Tanky, you play like Barrage, you play like Assault, you play Roto. There's so many cards to Ash, so I'd rather just let my opponent build a board, Nibiru them, and then break it after. So it is really cool in that regard. And then of course D-Shifter, it's an S tier hand trap. If your deck can play D-Shifter, you should absolutely play D-Shifter and abuse it, because this hand trap is like insanity if you can resolve it in your deck and function under it, because literally it's a floodgate. And who wouldn't want to play that? So now we're playing our triple D-Shifter. That's it for the monsters. Moving on to some consistency cards, you play Triple Pot of Extravagance. Again, most of our boss monsters are in the deck, right? You can see this right here in the main deck. And then all of our boss monsters that we need to summon from the extract, we're playing 3 of, so it doesn't really matter. We can actually function by drawing this card. And again, we have recursion as well, so I'm not too worried about banishing my extra cards. And now, again, we are playing triple Mutant Evolution Lab. Now, this card is probably the best extender in the deck. When it's activated, special summon one of your level 4 or lower mutant monsters from your hand, or it's banished. And then it has a cool effect where it's like a card trader, where it's like you can place 1 mutant monster from your hand on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw 1 card. So if you get any of these annoying pesky guys in your hand, you can put them back with Evolution Lab. Really, really cool. Again, we play the 1 Mutant Fusion. It's basically any other fusion card, except it's kind of like has a cool effect where it's like if your opponent has activated a card or effect this turn, you can use up to 1 monster from your deck and graveyard as fusion material. So you can use your deck and graveyard, similar to like a Shaddoll fusion in a way, but not really. But it does have like the indication where it banishes, so it is really good. And again, like I said before, you actually want your mutant cards banished because you can function off of our Nemesis cards and other cards as well. Then we played the 1 Terraforming to get into our extender. The 1 Reasoning, because you guys can see here, we got level 6 here, we got level 10 here, we got Necroface, we got level 15 millions here, we got level 1s, we got 2s, we got 8s here, we got 2s, and we got 3s. So Reasoning is really important in the deck. And again, these cards can't be special summoned, so you're almost, for the most part, hitting either your mutants or your flag, which is really, really cool. E-Telly to get these cards out, because again, E-Telly is really important, as you guys will see. And then Gold Sark is kind of an enabler, because it can banish any of our cards, and then we can just flag it back. Or you can just Gold Sark Necroface and just get more pluses, right? It doesn't really matter. But that's it for the spells. Moving on to the traps, we are playing triple Mutant Expansion. This card is basically an E-Telly. When you activate this card, you can take 1 level 4 lower mutant monster from your deck, add to your hand, or special summon it. For the most part, we're special summoning it because just these guys, and they're all triggering. So it's really cool. And then if a level 8 or higher mutant monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card you control instead. So we got some protection, which is pretty cool. And then an E-Telly and a protection, really important. And then Mutant Cries like a Thunder Dragon Fusion. During main phase, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling the fusion materials listed onto it from among your cards on the field in your graveyard and or face up banished. So again, like I said before, we actually want our cards banished because we can recur them with our Mutant Cry. So that's it for the main deck, guys. We are playing 41 cards in the main. Any changes you guys make, please let me know down below, and I will test those changes out as well, because again, I'm always down to innovate and create. But now moving on to the side deck, or just cards you can play in general, you play 1 Balancer Lord. If he's banished, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your hand. So this will be able to work with our STs, our M, and our flag. Pretty cool in that regard. Dotscaper, if you want to play more of like a Link Turbo version, you can play like Dotscaper, special summon himself in Turbo. And then a lot of decks I do see play the Red Eyes package as well. But since I decided to play the flag version instead, I wanted to be able to get these guys over the Dark Dragoon, because I know 1 negate is pretty good, but being able to summon out any of these guys and locking our opponent from playing the game is even better. But that's it for the side deck cards. Moving on to the extra deck, again, we are playing Extravagant, so there's not a lot of variety in this deck, but we are playing our triple ultimates, 3 level 8 or higher mutant monsters. When a card or effect is activated, you can banish one mutant card from your hand, graveyard, or face up on the field of the same type, negate the activation, and if you do banish that card, this fusion summon card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card out of the 3 banished mutant cards, 1 of each type. You can only use each effect once per turn. Ultimate is really good because he's a generic negate. Depending on what you banish, right? Your opponent activates a monster effect, I'm going to banish a monster and negate it. Your opponent activated a Regeki, I'm going to negate that as well. Oh, your opponent activated, I don't know, Torrential Tribute, I'm going to negate that as well. And for the most part, you'll always have at least a spell and at least a trap and a monster in the graveyard. Spell being fusion, monsters being these cards because they always tribute, and then trap being this card, how you summon it. Again, we got protection with this as well. Moving on to our synthesis, not as good of course because it's not a negate, but basically when he's fusion summoned, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. Then when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can activate this effect. For the rest of this turn, you're unaffected by that effect that your opponent activated. So say they go monster and you're afraid that it's gonna like turbo through and just destroy you, use this effect. Now he's unaffected by monster for the rest of the turn, and then if he's destroyed, you can add one of your banished mutant cards from your hand, cards to your hand that's banished, right? So he's really good. But now moving on to our other 3 of is Reprotokus, and this is how we manipulate for Escados and Protos. If you guys don't know what this card does is you can declare a type or attribute, and whatever he points to, that monster becomes it. So you can go like Fire Warrior, and then, or just Warrior, right? Summon Escados, use Escados effect, nuke the board, he'll destroy the warrior, not lock our opponent out, and now we still have Reprotokus on the board for next turn. And then of course we play our double Anaconda. Now this is why I suggested that you can actually play these cards, but for the most part you're going to Anaconda for your mutant fusion. And then we play the 1 access code to OTK. This card can literally be anything. These next cards can be anything you guys want. I decided to play access code to OTK, Cross Sheep to get into Unicorn and to get into Phoenix, but also to get into access code. But that's it for the main deck and the extra deck, guys. If you guys want to make changes, let me know down below as well. But let's quickly showcase what this deck can actually do. Alright guys, so now we are getting into like the combo or like the interactions that this deck has. Again, this deck functions better as like a 5 card sort of hand, but I just wanted to show you guys any variations of this deck. Is this kind of what the end board is, what you're gonna want to end on for the most part? What you're gonna want to, no, what you're gonna want to end on, what you're going to want to end on. Sorry, I can't English, I know it's hard. But now of course it takes 1 evolution lab, 1 e-tele, 1 flag. Again, these cards can be in variation, and depending on what you open in your 5 card hand, it doesn't really matter what you open. But anyways, let's start off with the combo. So again, we're gonna e-tele out our M5. Now again, like I said, for M for monster, M5 will go ahead and grab our ST. So now right here, what we're going to do is we're going to use M5's effect by tributing himself and then banishing the ST from the hand to special out our beast. Again, right, if you banish a monster, you summon out the beast. This is really good because it actually helps you turbo out your monsters. And again, make sure the zone placement is here. Just for practice, you're going to want to summon for the most part your main monsters here because Reprotokus points down here. But that's neither here nor there. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to activate our lab. Now lab's effect will trigger, and again, special summon a level 4 or lower mutant monster. This will go ahead and summon our ST, and now ST will trigger when he's normal or special summon, and ST will grab us our spell and trap, our trap being our Thunderdrag fusion, aka our mutant cry, which is really, really cool. Right here, what we are going to do is we are going to proceed to go ahead and use our ST's effect by tributing himself and banishing the spell card. And like I said right here, this is why you're going to want to play the mist in your deck. So now this will go ahead and summon out our mist from our deck, and again, you can put the mist here, it doesn't really matter. But now that we actually have not normal summon, we can summon out our flag and now use our flag's effect, which will let us search any nemesis monster from our deck to our hand. But again, like I said before, depending on what your hand is, you probably had a monster banished here as well, so you can just special summon flag if you just opened our M for the normal summon, so it doesn't matter. But right here, we're going to go ahead, we're going to use flag's effect, and again, you guys saw me move the zones, but make sure you just play under the zones, and this can grab us either our Escados or our Protos. For the most part, you're going to want to add Escados, but depending on the deck, right, it doesn't matter what you add here. But from here, we are going to proceed. We're going to link our monsters away, getting out our mist and our beast into our Reprotokus. So right here, you guys can see I'm pointing to it. Again, it doesn't matter what you declare here, it's just what your opponent is playing. So it can be warrior, it can be dino, it can be anything. For the most part, you don't really need dino because it'll nuke Reprotokus, but you get what I mean, right? So now right here, we go ahead, we summon out our Escados by banishing monsters with 3 different types. So again, I will clarify. We got a Psychic, we got a Spellcaster, and we got a Beast. So right here, what we can do is, now that we declare Dino, we can use Escados' effect, and Escados will actually just nuke the board and destroy all dinos, and this will give us a pretty cool thing where now our opponent is, well, both players are locked into summoning dinos until the end of the next turn, meaning until the end of your opponent's turn. They cannot summon dino monsters. So if they're playing against dinos, they can't summon dinos, they can't function, right? Now they have set cards and they can't really play. But now we're going to go ahead and set our Mutant Cry. I did misclick there, it's okay. Set our Mutant Cry right there. Now whenever our opponent does something, we go Cry, we shuffle back 2 monsters, and if we did have a banish level 8 monster like another card, we can actually summon out our Synthesis. And again, Synthesis will go ahead and trigger to pop a card on the field, and he does give us recursion as well. Now again, another cool instance, what we could do here is if we did not declare Dino, say for example we declared Warrior, right? We have Rebidocus point to Flag, Flag becomes a Warrior. Now we use Escados, and Escados will nuke the Flag, and now our opponent's locked into Warriors, and now we still have our Cry. So basically when our opponent tries to out our Rebidocus, we'll Cry, summon out the Synthesis. Synthesis will go ahead and pop the monster, and Synthesis will be summoned under the Rebidocus, because now what's going to happen is we will draw a card, of course. Now we still have a turn with Rebidocus. Rebidocus called Warrior, Escados nuke the board for Warriors, and then swing again. So it is really, really potent because we can lock our opponent out of the extra deck, and we can actually manipulate our cards as well, which is really cool. I think this deck definitely is one of the more fun decks. Of course, it's not like meta tier 0 breaking, but again, it has potential to steal a lot of games. But again, guys, this is Hamza. If you guys want to see other videos, guys, let me know down below. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, go ahead and just hit that subscribe button. But anyways, guys, this is Hamza. Like I always say, keep on shining, never give up on your dreams.